What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new edition of Holding Court here on the First State Hoops Report YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm First State Hoops Report founding editor and Holding Court host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. Of course, it is Christmas holiday week, so we've got tournaments going on, a lot of stuff, to get ready for not the second half, oh my gosh, but the post-break edition of high school basketball here in Delaware. We'll talk about that. So before we begin, I invite you guys to subscribe to this channel, and tap the notification bell so you can be notified of all the new content that drops on this channel. That includes this particular podcast, game highlights, and hopefully I can, scare up some other interesting things to make this channel a little more diverse as we move forward. So stay tuned for those things. Also, if you are not new, if you're a returning subscriber or you just be lurking around, I don't mind. Just be sure you like and comment on the videos so the algorithm can, take some steps so people can, more eyes and ears can be on this channel and understand that I try to do the very best I can to cover Delaware basketball with a wider lens. Because remember, it's a one person shop. So I'm doing this, solo, pro bono, mind you. But before we get to basketball, I know you folks are wondering, because everybody knows that my day job is as a reporter for HBCUsports.com, and I'm a Delaware State alum. So everybody's wondering, Chris, what you think? Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State football coach. We're going to have to wait and see. That's really what it boils down to. We are going to have to wait and see. Is this a splash hire? Absolutely. Is it something that was unexpected? Probably. But I was able to get a confirmation from an anonymous source, and as a journalist, it's very important. It's going to be very important as we move forward in this world today that you protect your sources. And my source told me that a name brand hire was always going to be on the table. There was Chris Carter, who you younger kids might not be familiar with, but he was Randy Moss's teammate with the Minnesota Vikings many moons ago. There was Mike Williams. There's so many Mike Williamses out there, but this was the Mike Williams that played at USC for a while. And I think he played for the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. I forget where, and I don't think he played for the Chargers, but it's been like 3 or 4 Mike Williamses in the last few years. But this Mike Williams is closer to my age than the Mike Williams that's playing now. So that Mike Williams is a successful high school coach in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. So he interviewed. So the name brand thing was always going to be on the board for the DSU football search committee. And again, as I've said on numerous occasions, to anybody that'll listen, DSU football hasn't had a winning season since 2012. That means a lot of the current high school kids were either just starting to be potty trained or were just about potty trained. So it's been a long time. It's been a very long time. And you need to shake things up. And as much as I would have liked a traditional HBCU coaching hire, let's see what Deshaun does. I mean, he's young. I mean, he just turned 38 earlier this month. I mean, he's 5 years younger than me. So, he's a young man. He played 15 years in the NFL. He played where Delaware State likes to recruit: Philly, DMV, and Baltimore. Important distinction before I move forward. Baltimore is not a part of the DMV. They will roast you to smithereens. Both sides, both the DMV, both Baltimore, if you group them together. Baltimore and the DMV are 2 separate entities altogether. Please keep that in mind. So just want to make that clear. But yeah, those are 3 areas that Delaware State likes to recruit. And Deshaun, of course, played for the Eagles twice, the Commanders, and the Ravens. So he knows his way around the area. And he says he's bringing in some top flight assistants. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. And you'll probably ask, Chris, do you think this will extend over to HBCU basketball? It could. I mean, when you think about the name brand hire thing in the last few years in HBCU football, I mean, it's really not that extensive, but it's extensive enough to where folks are starting to get a little worried. I mean, you saw Deion at Jackson State. Eddie George is still coaching Tennessee State. Mike Vick got hired at Norfolk State a couple days before Deshaun Jackson took the Eagles job. So we got 4 former NFL players of note that have taken HBCU coaching jobs in the last 4 or 5 years. And it could extend to basketball. I mean, Reggie Theus, Reggie Theus is honestly before my time. Reggie Theus played Chicago Bulls pre-Michael Jordan. Tell you how long ago this was. But Reggie Theus was actually a really, really good player for a long time. I think his career average over 13 seasons and 12 seasons in the NBA was 16, 17 points a game. And this was back when you had to get a blood test to get a foul. So this was back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. So Reggie Theus was a bucket. He's the head basketball coach and athletic director of Bethune-Cookman. Candace Dupree, who played at Temple for Dawn Staley and played in the WNBA for 16 years. She just started her first season as head coach at Tennessee State women's basketball. So it could happen in the HBCU space where WNBA players and NBA players who are retired want to take on coaching and feel like HBCUs will give them the start that they need, which is interesting because HBCUs have always been the land of opportunity. I mean, for students who couldn't afford to go to college at a local PWI or, didn't have the grades and would, work with them to, lift them up. So HBCUs have always been like a land of opportunity for folks who kind of need to prove themselves. And for Mike Vick and Deshaun Jackson, man, this is going to be the ultimate opportunity because Norfolk State has not been any good recently. Neither is Delaware State. So that's my official First State Hoops Report opinion. Yes, it could. Yes, it's a crazy hire. It's something that's interesting, and yes, it could eventually spill over into HBCU basketball. It hasn't yet, but don't be surprised if it does. Okay, so yes, on to the reason why you're really here, and that's high school basketball here in Delaware. I mean, we've got the Viking Classic that's still going on. We've got Governor's Challenge, and a lot of teams are taking out of state engagements. Sanford girls are out in Arizona at the moment. DMA is in Tampa, Florida. Howard's boys and girls are in South Carolina. And I said this last week. I said I wasn't very sure at first about these out of state tournaments and things of that nature because I don't know what purpose they serve. I mean, maybe I'm just lazy because honestly, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This was supposed to be my not so busy week because I was going to hit a couple of games over at the Viking. I still may. And, but the Deshaun news for my day job just kind of like, kill that. So, I mean, I enjoy my rest. I mean, maybe these kids are young. Maybe they can get up for a game every day. But those of us of a certain age, it's like, you kind of sort of cherish your rest a little bit. And I really wish these kids had a little bit more time to rest or at least play things a little closer to home. But I get why Coach Matthews and Coach Clack are doing it for Howard. I get why Coach Gian is doing it for the DMA girls. And we know that Coach Thompson is going to do that for the Sanford girls because, I mean, they've been head and shoulders above everybody in the independent conference pretty much for the last 30 years. So, I mean, he's got to find a competition where he can. I mean, he'll still, I mean, yes, they'll still have Ursuline. They'll still have Caravel. I think they got a couple other in-state games that might be interesting. I still think they play St. Elizabeth too, if I'm not mistaken. But conference play doesn't help Sanford. And that's no disrespect to anybody else in the independent conference, but it's just the fact that Marcus Thompson has built a superior program over there in Hockessin. So he's got to take the games where he can. If he has to take his girls out to Arizona, so be it. It is what it is. But I think now I understand that the kids only get better if they see something different because Delaware basketball, as much as it is growing, it's still very much a wide gulf. I mean, there's a huge separation between who's really good, who's great, who's good, and who is just putting a team out there to just put a team out there because they have to put a team out there. And it's unfortunate. I mean, because again, as I've said before, and I will maintain this, I did something foolish. I responded to somebody that I shouldn't have responded to in the last video. Won't happen again, trust me. But I still maintain that we need a shot clock and that the only way the game is going to grow in Delaware is if people take basketball seriously in Delaware as they do with football, as they do with soccer, as they do with wrestling, as they do with volleyball, as they do with swimming, as they do with field hockey. Basketball deserves the same care as these other sports. I'm not going to stop saying that because people, the powers that be, they look at basketball as, a nuisance. That's how I feel. I could be wrong, but you can't convince me that, every time that there's something big going on with other sports There's not as much consternation about letting photographers and content creators in. There's not as much consternation about what the state tournament should look like, who should host, what the formula should be. I mean, the other sports, their communities won't accept it. And basketball shouldn't accept it either. Basketball is just as important as everything else in this state. I mean, we've had NBA players and WNBA players in years past and in current. So if we want the kids to see that they can indeed do this, we need to give them every resource available to show that they can do it. And that's something that I feel like is missing with, regards to the powers that be here in the state of Delaware. And I'm not afraid to say it. I won't back off of it. And again, we need a shot clock. We need shouts out to Nick Basin and Bryson Lane. I know they stay in my comments when I post videos like this. They're like, we just want more games. And yeah, 20 really doesn't, it's not enough. To quote Kendrick Lamar, few solid enough, but it's not enough. Yeah, you need, I feel like 20, I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 24, 26 is fair enough. Because when you look at it, Flight A and Flight B, they do not play a round robin. I mean, not a round robin schedule, a home and home anymore. Because, you look at, when you think about it, Flight B and Flight A, you got one chance to beat somebody. You don't, you got to hope somebody else beats them. And then you got to hope that somebody else beats somebody else. And y'all pick up a win or two against either one of them teams here or there that have already. So it's a mess. So it would be nice if we could get back to, I know the Henlope North and Henlope South still do a home and a home, but it would be nice to get Flight A and Flight B back to a home and home schedule as well. Because it's unfortunate because there have been some teams that have been really good, lose one game, and then they not only lose out on a conference championship, they get knocked down in the points index. So it's really strange, but hopefully at some point basketball will be cared about a little bit more in the state of Delaware, so we can get a shot clock, we can get more games, we can get more resources towards basketball, that the same ones that football and everybody else gets. And that's my opinion on the matter. But what else did I want to talk about? I was thinking about it because this was going to be a short video anyway, because there's really not that much to go on, talking about these tournaments and different things. The tournaments are really just a way for the kids to be seen outside of their normal area, which is nice because we do the best we can, as media, 302, News Journal, WDEL, Sean Green, like myself, is a one-man band. He understands the plight better than anybody else at this point. Delaware State News, Delmarva Sports Network, the content creators, so many folks with cameras doing the best they can, but it's still nice for kids to be able to be seen by other people, just so that people know that Delaware media and the Delaware basketball community is not capping, as the kids say. We have great kids here. We have skilled talent here. We've got Gigi Banks, one of the top 10th graders in the country. Look no further. You have talented, boys on, you've got, your Darnell Lloyds, your Josh Obioras, your Kenny Hunter Juniors. Who else? Shucks. It's a lot. Dover has an all-star team. You got Jaden Taylor, Sanford. Oh, yes. Dover, Sanford, January 4th, 1 p.m. at Dover. Get your tickets quickly because they will go fast and you don't want to be left out. That is going to be the first game of the post-holiday break that is going to tell us a whole lot about the state of boys basketball here in Delaware. Sanford at Dover, Saturday, January 4th, 1 p.m. First State Hoops Report, that's me, will be in the house. Please believe it. I am driving down there. I don't normally drive downstate because I've had a bad run of terrible cars over the last few years, but I feel like this Toyota that I have, knock on wood, should be fine for that trip. But that game is going to tell us a ton about, Dover's unbeaten. Sanford's played some really good ball. They're both down at the Governors Challenge right now, but they play each other on January 4th. That is a state championship game preview type of game. So get down there. If you're going to go, make sure you get your tickets and get on the road early. Saturdays really aren't that bad if you take Route 1. 13 might be a different matter. Then again, not that many people take 13 anymore, so it might be just a Route 1 situation. But you want to avoid the tolls, because I've driven in Delaware for over 20 years, and I still think it is absurd that you have to pay any amount of money to drive from Wilmington to Dover. I do. I think it's ridiculous. I do it because it's a convenience thing, but if I wanted to take the scenic route, I would just take 13 all the way down, because and people are going to say, but Chris, it's $5 on the weekend. To quote the legendary Martin Payne, I ain't paying the $5. I'm not paying the $5. I'll pay the $5 if I have to, but that's just ridiculous to me. I'm sorry to get off track. That's mind boggling to me that Route 1 has been finished for 20 plus years now, and we're still paying for Route 1. That's basically, and I get that, yeah, toll workers, highway employees, they have to get paid too. I get it, but it's still just absurd to me to pay any amount of money to drive from Wilmington to Dover. Maybe I'm just cheap. I don't know, but whatever. Sorry to get off on that little tangent, but yes, Saturday, January 4th, Sanford at Dover, boys basketball, 1 p.m. Be there or be square, because that is going to be a fun game. It's a lot of talent on both sides, good coaching. And again, this is going to tell us a lot about just how good these two teams are and how far they can go in the state tournament, because Dover has the Ric Flair principle working for them. To be the man, you've got to beat the man. And right now, Dover's the man. They've got the talent. They've got the depth. They have that championship. Again, this was a Dover team who had the most state tournament appearances of any high school on the boys' side without winning a state championship prior to last year. So they deserve a ton of credit. They've reloaded basically. Yeah, Darrell's gone. Yeah, Denham's gone, but Ice is still there. Javion Dennis is still there. That's a good basketball team. There's a lot to like about that Dover basketball team. So we will be there Saturday, January 4th, and hopefully we'll see you in the building as well. On the girls' side, I still feel like it's too early to tell, because we're still getting a lot of these. The girls play more showcases than anybody. And I think that's important, because the girls, boys are always going to get the pub, because boys basketball is just what it is. It's always going to be that, that publicity, that advertisement mentality. But girls basketball, if girls basketball in Delaware is truly going to grow like women's basketball is growing nationwide, then these girls need to see out-of-state talent a lot more. So you see a lot of, you see AI, Appo, Caravel, Ursuline, Sanford doing, shore games. She Got Game, and DMA going down to Tampa, Howard going down to South Carolina. So it's important that these girls get a lot more exposure and reps against different regions, because you're only going to be as good as your competition. And again, for Howard's sake, for Howard and AI's sake, they definitely need to, do some things on the girls' side, because Flight B outside, there's 3 good teams in Flight B on the girls' side. AI, who's won the last 3 of them things, Howard, and Hodson. That's it. That's the list. And no disrespect, no shade to anybody else in Flight B, but that's what it is at this particular point in time. So Howard, AI, and Hodson definitely need to get some reps outside of conference before they start beating each other up, which is scheduled to begin next month. So overall, I feel like, this week is just a chance for the kids to get out, see some different talent, see how they measure up against that different talent, and then bring what they've learned back to Delaware play. And that should be fun, because you get to see these different kids from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, South Carolina, Florida, Arizona, California, on and on it goes. But when you come back to the state, it's all business. And I'm very excited to see how this year shakes out. I can't honestly say that everything is as cut and dry as Ursuline and Dover repeating. I can't say that. Yes, they are the best teams right now, but you can still make a case for Caravel on the girls' side. St. E's is going to get better. Paddle is probably going to, get better. You can't count out Cape Henlopen and Smyrna downstate on the girls' side. Boys' side, the boys. Yes, Dover is the favorite. Can't count out St. E. Can't count out Sanford. You definitely can't count out Sally's. Everybody stop worrying about Sally's, okay? Sal's, Taylor Trevisan schedules them hard on purpose because by the time February and March rolls around, they're ready for everything that comes their way. So please, people, stop worrying about Sally's. They will be fine. Can't count out Howard. Can't count out Cape on the boys' side either. Middletown, Appo, Odessa, William Penn. There's literally 15, 20 teams on the boys' side who can win a state championship, and none of them would surprise me. That's how deep the boys' side is. The girls' side, anyone outside of Ursuline, Caravel, Sanford, or St. E's would shock me. But that's why they play the games. And that's why we're here to cover those games. So we will be doing more of that as the holiday break ends. Like I said, we will be in Dover for Dover Sanford January 4th. And after that, probably 2-3 games a week for us as usual. So again, subscribe to this channel. Be sure to follow us on all manners of social media. We are on, we're still on X. We're still on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and this YouTube channel where all the highlights and stuff go. We'll be we'll be everywhere. So be sure to do all of that. Greatly appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. So thank y'all for watching this edition of Holton Court. I do want to leave you guys with one important thing that is unsports related as we head into 2025. And this goes for the high school kids, this goes for the college kids, this goes for the adults. Take New Year's Eve and write down everything that you want to do and who you want to be in 2025. Doesn't matter what it is. If you want to have a higher grade point average, if you want to get a raise, if you want a new job, if you want to move, or if you just want better for yourself, whatever better looks like for you, write it down. Manifest it, because life goes on regardless of anything that goes on with the external appearances of the world. You still have to live your life. So why not live your best one? Write down everything you want to do, write down everything you want to be, figure out what those steps are, and pursue your goals. And that's pretty much it. Okay, now I'm done. So thank y'all for watching Holton Court. Greatly appreciate your time. Hope you guys had a great holiday season. Happy New Year. Oh, one more thing. I keep saying I'm going to sign off, but I keep having stuff come to mind. I got one hot take that I got to get off. And I think it's safe. I don't think it's safe to get off here, but if you are from the African-American community, the African-American community, if you black, basically, you know that it's tradition to eat a spoonful of black-eyed peas for New Year's Eve for good luck. I ain't doing it. I've never done it. Black-eyed peas are nasty to me. So to my young people out there, and yes, parents, I am going over your heads. Young people, don't let them old people bully you into eating them nasty behind black-eyed peas. There's nothing about that nasty meal that says that is good luck. Don't do it. I could be wrong. Maybe that's why First State Hoops Report hasn't blown up the way it should have, because I haven't eaten black-eyed peas. But if I have to eat black-eyed peas for First State Hoops, okay, yeah, then maybe I would eat black-eyed peas for First State Hoops Report to blow. But I'm not eating no black-eyed peas on New Year's Eve. Not doing it. I ain't gonna be. That's another $5 I ain't paying. But yes, I just want to get that off my chest. Once again, okay, now we're done. So thank y'all for watching this edition of Holton Court. Y'all have a great holiday. You have a great Happy New Year's. See you guys in the gym starting January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and so on and so forth. Till next time we speak, y'all take care of yourselves and each other.